Uh, all right. So good morning, everyone. I trust you all had a great day. Uh, Yesterday we discussed about building the database structure of your application, and today we'll be discussing about the UI and how we can connect our front end, that is the design part of your application, to your database. And so for today we are going to be discussing primarily about these two tabs here, the design and the workflow. We are going to be designing our application, how it looks to the client. I'm going to keep this really simple because this is once again a beginner's training program. It is not a pro training. So this is just to give us tips of an idea of what we can do using no code 2. It is now left to you to know how you want to put in this knowledge to in building your own application. I'm going to take us through the basics of things that we will need. Yesterday I told us that we will have three basic type of data type for our application, and that was the product, the user, and the vendor. That is correct, but there is one aspect of it I forgot to make mention of, and that is the aspect of orders. That is when a user comes on your site and places an order, you as the admin want to keep an inventory of that. And so therefore there are two ways we can come about this. It's either we create it inside the vendor, uh, what's it called, the vendor data type, and then from the vendor data type it will become accessible to the user. But we are not going to be doing it that way because we want our orders to be visible to both the users and the vendor. We want it to be visible to the users so that they can be able to monitor what they have ordered from your platform. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but I hope you do. Once again, I'll be leaving the group open for question and answer. So we are going to quickly create an order type, and that will be a data type, and that will be successful order. Successful order. Order. So we are going to create this, and inside this successful order, the data field we need is number one. We need to know the user that made this order, and the way we do this is by simply typing. We will name this user yes, or created by user, create user. Okay, let's just leave it as user. And then the field type, this is where bubble really gets interesting, because you're not just restricted to, when selecting your data type, you're not just restricted to this built-in this thing. You can also reference in other data types as a data field, and that gives you vast flexibility in terms of referring to your data type and data to the data of your application. So in this case, the user is going to be a user here. And the reason we did it like this is because definitely the person that is going to be making an order is going to be a user, and as the vendor we want to know who that user is, and also as the user we want to be able to attach his order to his unique user. I don't know if this makes any sense. You can ask questions to after watching this video. So we are going to create, and then the next field we'll be creating is the product that is being ordered. So we are going to name this ordered product. And once again, this one is going to be of type product, but the difference here is we are going to make this a list, because one user can all right. So let's go to our design tab. Over at our design tab, we are going to be designing what our uh, application would look like. I don't know why this one is not leaving this place, but let's hope it does not interrupt us in our development process. So okay, let me see if I can take it off. Okay, I think it has gone. All right, yeah, it has gone, thank God. So quickly let's jump to our design, the design aspect of our application. So uh, I'm going to keep this really simple. I'm not going to do any fancy design process here, because I really don't want, it is a beginner's training and I don't want to get things really to become clumsy for us. I want it to be as simple as possible. We are going to be employing all these elements here so that we can understand this better. So we're going to close this, and we are going to start with the design. So basically I want to first put a floating group up here. A floating group. I want to create some sort of an header for the design, but in this case we are not just going to be creating an header, we are going to have more than one page in our application. So we want to create a reusable element so that we are not going to be what will I say, we are not going to be having to we're not going to be having to be redesigning our header in every page. We just simply come here and pick our header and paste it. We get to understand that later. Alright, so we are going to create our header, and to create our header we are going to be using a reusable element. To create a reusable element, you simply come here and click on create new reusable element. You name it. In our case here it will be of type header, and then we are not going to be cloning this. We want to create from scratch, so we are going to create this. You can see it here is creating new reusable element. So we don't want this to be fixed, because if it is fixed, our application will not be responsive in terms of adjusting to the screen size of the device being used. So if your application, if your this thing here is fixed, then it would be fixed. It will not adjust to the screen size. I don't know if any one of you have opened any website on your phone before, and you have to be scrolling to the edge so you'll be able to see what is at the extreme edge. And that is an example of a fixed website, and it is not a good thing, especially from the UI and the UX point of view. That is how the users experience when using your app. So for this we are going to make it a row. The reason I chose row is because we want to align the elements on the platform, or on the reusable element, on an horizontal basis. I don't know if you get. Okay, no, it is going to be a column. Sorry, it's going to be a column, because we are going to stack two groups above each other vertically. If you choose row, then you are going to have to arrange them horizontally by the side of each other. But in this case we want to have a column, because we want to have the first header, which will be carrying our icon or the name of our application, and then the second header, and the second group, which will be carrying the name, the search bar, and the cart and other functionalities, just like we have it in this e-commerce website here. You can see here there are two categories. There are two groups. You have the one carrying the search bar, and then the one carrying the categories. So we want to build something like that over here, and so we are going to leave it as column. And then the container alignments, this is the way you the container will how will I put it, the container will set things that are inside it. Like for instance, you have a box and you want to arrange things on top each other, or you want to arrange it flat in the box, or you want to arrange it on one side. This is basically what that is trying to tell us. Container alignment. Right now it is placed at top aligned. What that simply means is anything you put in that container is going to automatically snap to the top. What this one means is anything you put inside this container is going to remain at the middle of the container, and this one means it is going to snap to the bottom. This one means that it will share the space both at the bottom and at the top evenly. That is, it will distribute elements placed on inside itself evenly, with even the same space between them. And then this one is going to stretch whatsoever element. That is, if you put two elements in the container, it will take one to the extreme top and bring the second one to the extreme lower part of the container. In our case here, we want it to be in the middle. That is middle, to be in the center of the what's it called, of the container. So yeah, what should be our minimum width? I love using 320 because 320 is the smallest screen size on a smartphone device, and that is the screen size of an iPhone 5. So that's the smallest screen size on a smartphone device. So anything smaller than this, you're already going to an analog device, and most applications don't open on that device. So my minimum width is going to be 320, and my maximum width is going to be infinite, because I don't know, you might want to open my application on the plasma, or you want to open my application on, name it, the largest screen in the world probably. And so I want my application to look good on every screen size, so I'm going to leave this maximum width at infinite. And then the minimum height here, we want our header not to be too far wide, tall on our page, so we are going to take this to 100. And then our maximum height should be 150. What this simply means is your header would never pass the 150 mark in terms of height. So no matter how the screen enlarges or shrinks, it is still going to remain on this 150 mark. So let me pause it, or let me rather, I'll continue the video. So that is that about the layout of the platform. So we go to the appearance, and I think okay, no, we don't want a color here, because we would be putting the colors on the individual groups that will be on the platform. So let's see, shadow style, yes, we want it to be outset, and this one vertical, we want it to be 1, and the horizontal, we want it to be 0. That what this simply means is width. Okay, let's increase this. I want it to have that kind of feel that thinks it is in front of every other element. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. You will understand it when we see how our app is in real time. So the blur radius, I want it to be, it should remain as 4, and the spread radius should be 1. So you can see what is going on here in our group. You can see that little fine shadow appearing at the base of the reusable element. So that is that about the styling of this thing. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to take a floating group, because as I mentioned earlier, I want my application to, the header to stay above, no matter what the scrolling looks like, no matter how far you scroll in your list. I want it to stick at the top. So that is what I'm going to do here. And for this, we go to the layout, and we remove this from being fixed. We remove it and we leave it at column, and then make it to be center aligned. We don't want this, we want this to be visible on page load. And then for the width, we want it to be responsive, so we are not going to put a minimum width, and neither are we going to put a maximum width. So the width of this container is going to match that of the parent container, which is a reusable element. So the minimum height in this case is going to be 0, and then the maximum height too is going to be 0. We want it to fit into the reusable element. And for this case here, fit height to content, we don't want it to fit height to content. We want it to spread throughout the reusable element. So we are going to close this, and the next one we are going to take now is a group. We are going to put a group here, and for this group, let's go to the appearance first. Let's adjust the appearance, remove style, then you can edit the style the way you want it at this place. So let's pick a color for this group. We want it to be a bit light, yes, a lighter blue. And then what else do we need to play with? I think that is all. So we come to the layout again. Okay, let's rename this floating group header. We should take note of the names we use for our elements, because when we are referencing them in future, either for workflows or for data type or in anything we are referencing them, mostly done with workflow, we are going to have to be taking note of the name. So for this one now, it will be our logo or logo slash app name, because that's where we want to put our app name. I told us earlier that I want to be really simple about this, and this is going to be a row. That is where, yeah, what I was explaining earlier came into consideration. This side here, we chose it to be a row because we want to be putting things stacked horizontally on the platform, on the header. So that's why I chose a row. So for the responsiveness, we keep this at 0, and then we remove this maximum width. The same thing goes for the height is going to be 50%. We come over here and click this place, and we are giving option to write it at percentage. So we are going to leave this as 50% of the group, parent group. What this means is, no matter what happens, the height of this group is going to be 50% of the parent group, that is the group that is housing it. And so that is that. We are going to leave that. Let's go back to the main group, and let's keep this to be top aligned. So let's take another group, or let's simply copy this one, copy, and then we paste it here, and paste, and then we change the color so that it will stack up differently from the previous one. I want this to be a bit darker. Okay, I think that's fine. So let's take a text now and place it here, text, and let's go to the layout, center this, and then the text is going to be the name of our platform. Let's change the style here a bit. The name of our platform, that is name of our application. So let's increase this, let's say 36. No, 36 is too large. Let's say 18, and let's increase the boldness. Want something bolder. Okay, say 800. Let's still increase the font. 24. Let's see. And then we want the center aligned, and we want to center the text vertically. So let's still increase this. Let's go with, let's say 30. Okay, so we might still have to reduce that later. Let's see how our text will look like. Alpha Tech. It's going to be the name of our application, and let's change the color to white. Let's see how white will look like. Let's come over here, change the color. Let's see if it stacks up great. Okay, it's okay. So that is the name of our application, and then for this place here, we are going to put in the search bar, and for the search bar, we are going to have an input where users can type in text. I'm going to place an input there. Let's go to the appearance and remove this. So we want our input remove to be color white, so that it will stand out in the application. Sorry, no, this is the input text. We're going to change that. Let's undo what we did. The input color is what I want to change. Okay, yeah, background style, flat color, and then we want it to be white. Let's add a bit of roundness for aesthetic purpose. You can also define the roundness individually, but right now we don't want to do that. So let's make this to be the height should be like, let's say 50% of the height of the group it's containing group. Or let's go with 60%, and then the width in percentage should be 70%, because we want to place other icons like add to carts, like the carts view there. So let's center this. I told you I was going to keep this really simple. You can be very flexible with your own what's it called, with your own design. It's your choice. You can design it however you want to design it. So that is that for the input. And then we take an icon. I will drop an icon here, and this icon will be our cart icon. So we are going to type in cart here, and we leave it here like this. Then we remove the style to change the color so that it will show, and then we take it to white, and we can increase the size as well. So let's increase. Remember, this one was 80%, but so we want the cart to take in the remaining 20%. Or no, let's make it 15%, so that we have some space between it. And for this container, let's spread out the alignment of the individual material elements we place in there. And then for the height, we want this thing to be 100% of the height, or let's say 90% of the height. Okay, so I think it's too much. Let's say 70%. Alright, so now let's center this. So what we want to do with that cart is, when it is clicked, we want it to go to our cart page. And if we are going to work with that functionality, then we have to add a condition to it, that when the cart page is visible, that is, when we are on the cart page, we don't want this icon to be visible. So how we do that is, we come to conditional statements and we define a new condition, and the condition will be when current page. Okay, I've not yet created the cart page. Okay, we can't do that now, so let's remove this for now. We'll be discussing that later. So basically, this is all we want to be on our reusable elements. So we close this and we go back to our index page, and then right now we'll be having like the index page will be the page where you would be how will I put it? Okay, this will be the page where, if you open many typical e-commerce app, you see stuff like this, where you see featuring products. But in our own case, all we do here is the list of products that we would have. This will be the page we will put it. So let's go back to our reusable elements and we drag in our header, and boom, you can see it's here. So we go back to the layout. It is here now as a single element on its own. But mind you, we cannot edit it here. For every edit we want to do, we have to go back to the reusable element section. So we don't want this to be fixed. So we leave this as a column. So where's our header? Good. So now, sorry, I've placed it twice. You can see how our header looks like now. You can see the name of the application, and you have the search box here, and then you have the cart. So now the next thing we want to do is, we want to have a repeating group over here where we will be displaying our products. A repeating group where we'll be displaying our products. So we will drop in a repeating group here, and then we are going to center this. horizontally, and we are going to give it a margin on the top of, let's say, 30 pixels, because we don't want it to clap on this our header here. So with that, now we are good to go. So our repeating group is going to have let's leave it at a single row. No, let's not leave it, let's not set a fixed number of rows, and let's not set a fixed number of columns. What this simply means is your repeating group will now be free to accommodate as much column as possible and as much rows as possible, and this will also help in our the responsiveness of our application, because whenever we clamp our application together, it automatically adjusts itself because it's not set to a fixed row. So for this one now, we want the maximum height of our rows to be, let's say, 300, because we are going to put in images of the product and other things. So let's make the width to like 250, and you can see we have a nice layout out here. So we set the data content to be of type product, and then the data source should be do a search for products. So what we simply are doing here is we are going to be searching for every single product in our database, and we are going to be displaying it on our page, every single product, and we are going to sort this product by the price, and we want this to be of ascending order. So we are going to click no here. The reason I chose this is because to encourage customers on our site, we want to make sure that the product that comes on the top of whenever they open pages are cheap products, that is products with lesser price, and that is why I did the sorting by price. And you can see that immediately we close this automatically becomes blue, that is our condition is valid. So we are going to close this. So now let's quickly go to our database and populate our product and data type. So we are going to be populating with some products from here. So let's download this image, or let's copy the image address and go back and paste it in our app. So for the brand, so let's create a new entry, and then to create a new entry, the brand, let's say Nike shoes, and the price is, let's say, 15,000 naira, and then the slug is not for us to fill. Let's just like Lauren Ipsum text. Let's just leave it at this. And then for image, we don't have a cat. For an image, we are going to add a new image, and for this we can either choose to upload. We are going to upload a new image. So let's go to our, let's see if you have any image, photos, pictures, and then we are going to pick, let me just first get some images from online. Okay, we don't have any image that look like what we are looking for, so let's get an image from the net. Let's simply type Nike shoes. Okay, let's search this images, and let's download this one. So we are going to save image as alpha. We're going to save. So let's download another one. Alpha 2 or alpha 1, and we save. So now let's go back to our application. It's loading, and let's upload an image. Our image is going to be in downloads. It's loading, and then here we go. Good, you can see the image appeared here. So Nike shoes is the name of our product. Let's add another image here. Let me see which one was the first image I added. Okay, so let's add this one. Let's open. It's going to upload the image, and here we have it. So we are not going to add to cart and then we create. Got it. So I think I made a mistake with the data type. Yes, I did. This cart is supposed to be inside of the users, not the product, because it is the user that is going to be creating the carts. So CRT cart, and then it is going to be of type product, and then it will be create. So now that we've done that, let's now go back to our design tab. I just quickly did this so that I'll show you how it applies to how we can combine both our database and our application together. So let's quickly take a group and let's drop it inside this repeating group that we have here, and then this group is going to be, let's give it a white color, and then for UI sake, let's add a bit of shadow or roundness of, let's say, 10, and then shadow style should be outset, and I think we should just leave it like this, just so that it will look really nice. And it is inside this group that we are going to put in our products. So let's quickly get an image, and let's put it here. And this image, we are going to insert a dynamic data, and this is where things get really interesting, when you are beginning to connect your front end with your database. Now what this simply means is you are allowing your users to interact directly with your application, with your database. By using this, we are going to be displaying things that are in our database for our users to see. So we are going to insert dynamic data, and then we are going to put parents group. Sorry, have I set this to product? Yes, and then it is going to be current sales products. What this means is current